Well, hello and good afternoon, power traders. I have the pleasure to introduce you to the customization of the most powerful scanning tool here on the planet. That's the Intelliscan, in case you were wondering. Now, the Intelliscan, well, that's found only in VantagePoint, and you have exclusive access to this power tool. But let's be honest, guys, a tool is only as good as your ability to use it and put it to work. So join with me today as we take this power tool together, and we're going to put it to good use. That's exactly what we're going to do. So for those that are plugging in, you should have received an email or a packet or whatnot with some attachments, and you should have the Intelliscans already included there. I'm going to go ahead and open up the first one. So for those that are working with maybe a couple of screens and want to have VantagePoint on one screen and me on the other, that's perfectly fine. But we're going to dig into these together. And so you should have all received 8 different Intelliscans with the invite. And you want to have them ready to go because we're going to start first with the Stochastic Bullish Intelliscan. So I'm going to pull that one up first, and we're going to start by looking at some stocks. So let's go ahead and pull up this scan together, and we'll let that load there. Fantastic. Now what we've done is we added in all of our stocks here into this Intelliscan. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the stochastic, or maybe you are, well, the stochastic is a momentum indicator. But here in VantagePoint, what we've done is we've transformed with our artificial intelligence and patented technology that traditional lagging version of the stochastic indicator into a predictive version. So you've got a highly accurate leading indicator with 1 day's worth of forecasted information plugged into the stochastic here within VantagePoint. So what we've done is we've added in this indicator into our Intelliscan. Well, what are we trying to identify here, guys? We're looking for a bullish opportunity. So we've got the medium-term crossover in here. Notice that we've got this filtered down to just 1 day. These are fresh medium-term crossovers that just occurred as of the last update. We've got our direction here pointed up. We're looking for a bullish opportunity here. Right along to the right, that stochastic crossover. We want to see that the momentum is headed in what direction? That's right, up. And so that's why we have that here as well. And then over here on the right, we've got the stochastic value. Now this is that predictive line, the SKS here that I was referring to. Now the way the stochastic works is you're measuring oversold and you're measuring overbought market conditions. And so when you see that a market is closer to the 20 range with the stochastic, that is telling you a market is oversold. So the way that we've actually set this one up, guys, is we've got this greater than 30. So anything greater than 30, we're looking for something that is probably coming out of an oversold condition, prime for a potential buying opportunity here. And you can see it's probably coming out of a weak market or a downtrend, and we're on the cusp of taking that reversal. So if we were to pull up, for example, something like Alibaba, and we can look at this one together, you can see that over on the right-hand portion of the screen, look what's going on here. We do have that fresh medium-term crossover. All 3 of our predictive lines are pointed up. We've got a higher gray candle here, green on that neural index. This is looking fantastic, isn't it? So right there, just from that Intelliscan, we've identified with the medium-term crossover and the stochastic, a great opportunity here to the upside. Now, the next one that we're going to look at, let's go ahead and pull up the Stochastic Bearish scan. So what happens if we flip this around here? So let's open up our Stochastic Bearish scan, and let's see what happens when things go the other way. Now, we'll let that load, and hopefully you guys are following along here with me. Why don't we pull this one up? Here we go. So all we've done here, guys, we've done the exact same thing, but now what we're doing is now we've reversed everything. So now everything is filtered to the downside. So we've got our medium-term crossover set to 1 day. We've got our stochastic here filtered down as well. And then we have our other stochastic. This is the value now. Remember I told you that that 80 represents an overbought market? Yeah, right here, we've got this set to less than 70, less than 70. So now we're looking for a bearish opportunity, So if we were to pull up something, let's just pull this one up here from the financial sector, AAT. Look what we have going on right here. We've got price falling, blue line crossing over the black line, red on that neural index. Look at that great candle. That's our one-day predictive indicator. All three lines headed down. So again, by utilizing the medium-term crossover and the stochastic, just in the Intelliscan, we're keeping things simple. We're not adding a bunch of things in here right now. We're keeping it simple, just incorporating a couple of indicators. But here we can see VantagePoint is finding things for us that we'd have to spend maybe hours going through, apart from some of these filters. And I know that many of you don't want to spend hours having to look at these charts every single day. Imagine only having to spend 30 minutes every single evening just running a few of these scans and finding opportunities just like this one, as you can see. Now, the next one that we're going to go through together is now let's look at the continuation trends bullish scan. We're going to pull this one up now. And we'll let that one load for us. All right, perfect. Here we go. Okay, so when looking at this one, now we've got, oops, there we go. Now we've got our continuation trends bullish scan here, and I wanted to give you guys some time to open that up. And so with this scan, you'll notice it's a little bit larger. We've got a few more things added in here. And in this one, I like how we have the category, so we can see what sector that particular stock is in. We're still working with all 1,000 over here on the top left, as you can see, and we've narrowed this down to 4. Now we have the triple crossover here added into this Intelliscan. And as I make this days column a little bit larger, you can see we've got this set to greater than or equal to 4 days. So this is something where we're looking for existing momentum. These are markets that aren't necessarily fresh crossovers, but they've been moving, in this case, to the upside. These have been bullish trends that are expected to continue according to VantagePoint. So the triple cross in here, we've got added in greater than or equal to 4 days. We also have the long-term crossover in here. We don't have a days in this category, but we have that direction pointed up. We do have greater than or equal to here on the 4 days for the medium term. So this is something that is a fairly fresh crossover. It's been within the last 4 days, but that momentum is still moving because look at our neural index. That's our green bar moving up. And then over here on the right, you guys probably noticed we've got the predicted trading range direction. Now that is our gray candle. That's our forecasted trading range. Now, right now it's set to both. That's kind of the way this one's been defaulted. But let me show you a little bit of an adjustment here that you can do with this particular filter. Now you can set it to both and that's okay. But to make this even more powerful, if we change this to up, now what that's telling us is this gray candle has a higher predicted high and a higher predicted low. So this is a market that, yeah, it's been in a bullish trend, but it's expected to continue, isn't it? So it's fully established, but if it's going to continue, could there be an opportunity here? Absolutely. Let's just pull up Scott's Miracle Grow. This is found in the cannabis sector. And let's see what this chart is showing us. Well, there you go. Look at that. Over the last 2 months, we've been in a nice long bullish trend. And you can see VantagePoint caught that reversal way back here, right at the beginning. But even recently, you can see with this green candle, that gray candle right next to it, that's today's forecasted range. This market is expected to be sitting higher, isn't it? And then we've got green on the neural index with all 3 lines pointing up. So a fantastic example of a market that, yes, it's been moving, but still expecting continued momentum. And you can see we found that just by tweaking this predicted trading range direction. So another fantastic tool and scan here that you can utilize for a continuation of those bullish trends. Now let's look at the opposite. What about bearish? So let's go ahead and pull up our next one, and that is the continuation trends bearish scan. So pull that one up for me, and let's go ahead and open up that one together. We'll give that a few seconds to load. Perfect. And here we are. So very similar, guys. Triple crossover. We've got filtered down. We've got the category in here, of course. We're able to see the sector. This is set to greater than or equal to 4 days. So we're still looking at something that's been down for a while. Long-term crossover, still down. Medium-term crossover, less than or equal to the last 4 days. You can see the neural index is down. So that's all red. Here's another great opportunity for us to tweak this even further, where it says predicted trading range direction. Why don't we set that one down and see if we find anything? Well, there you go. Look at that. Now, out of the 1,000 opportunities, there's 6 that popped up here. These are bearish trends that are fully established that are expected to continue moving down. So if we were to pull up, let's just look at this first one here, Seattle Genetics under the healthcare sector. Well, would you look at that? So this is something that's been moving down for a while, hasn't it? But according to all of VantagePoint shortest term indicators, gray candle still moving down, red here on the neural index, as you can see, all 3 lines still well below that 0 line. We are in a fully established bearish trend, and this is expected to continue moving down. Are you all seeing how helpful and how powerful this is? I hope you are. Feel free to type in the chat box at any time as well, just to express and say, yes, I'm seeing that this is helpful. And we're going to move on here. From the continuation trends bearish scan, let's move on to the next one. Now, let's look at something that's more of a longer term reversal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up now the long trend reversal bullish scan. Long trend reversal bullish scan. Let's go ahead and open up this one, and let's see what VantagePoint is able to find for us. I'm loving this so far. We're finding some fantastic opportunities here, and notice we haven't even spent a whole lot of time doing this. Once these scans are set up, everything else just falls into place. Now let's take a look at this one together. It's a little bit larger, as you can see. So we're gonna take our time going through this one. Now you'll notice that over here on the left, let's start with this first filter. We've got the long-term crossover. Now we've got this filtered down. Now some of you may be wondering, well, why would you have it filtered down if this is your bullish scan? Great question. Let's dig a little deeper and find out. So we've got the long-term crossover set to down. We've got the short and the medium crossovers, both filtered up because we're looking for bullish. We've got the neural index trend up, so that's our green bar. We've got the gray candle showing both here, or what you could do is you could also change that to up if you were looking for something that's all pointed up. The short term, medium term, long-term difference trend, guys, all pointed up. Those are our predictive differences. So we've got everything here showing us bullish, except for this first one. Now let's dig in a little deeper and let's see what this is actually telling us. The long-term crossover, all this is saying when this is pointed down is that our long-term has not yet crossed over our moving average, our simple moving average. So our predicted long-term crossover has not yet occurred. So this number right here can be very, very valuable because this is actually showing you opportunities that have been in a downtrend for a significant period of time that now, according to VantagePoint's shortest term indicators, are looking to take a turn back up. So for instance, if we just looked at this one right here with TPR, you can see, great example. Look what's going on here. Market's been down, moving down for at least this last week or so. And now we're starting to see price action move up. Look at that crossover, medium term. We've got a green neural index here. Look at our 3 predicted difference lines all moving up. Everything is saying this market is expected to move. Look at that high green candle there. Talk about a fresh opportunity, and talk about something that's fresh coming right off of that bearish move. This allows you to find something much, much earlier. Now you'll notice as we looked at this Intelliscan, we had the medium term set to less than or equal to 4 days. You can adjust that as needed. For those of you that are wanting to be a little bit more aggressive, you can customize this to your liking. Bring this down, maybe 3 days or 2 days, maybe even 1 day. If you just want to look at the 1 day crossovers for the medium term, you can definitely do that. But the concept is the same. You're looking at something that has been moving in a downtrend for a long period of time, but now is starting to pick up existing momentum. Now, I know you guys are probably seeing a lot of value with this one. I work with a lot of customers, and this is very, very helpful. In addition to this one, though, why don't we set one up together that's bearish? Because that one was not included in the email that you should have received with this packet of indicators. So I'm going to give you a little extra. Let's flip this one around. So let's go ahead and adjust the long-term crossover. Let's go ahead and put that one up. And we're just going to do the exact opposite here, aren't we? We'll filter that one down. We'll filter that one down. We'll filter that one down. Down, 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 down. Just moving everything down. There we go. Perfect. So now we're left with 42, but we're probably going to pay the most attention to, and I'm just scrolling over here to the left, some of these that have been moving up for a long period of time, but all of VantagePoint shortest term indicators are saying this market is going to fall. Look at the short term 3 days ago, the medium just crossed over. Neural index showing red, everything here pointed down. So if we were to pull up, let's just look at this first one here under utilities. Well, would you look at that? This market has been in a long uptrend for a significant period of time. But now, look what's going on right here on the right. Fresh crossover, gray candle, moving down significantly. Red there on the neural index, all 3 lines pointed down with some solid spacing there between those lines. This market is expecting some downward momentum, isn't it? Oh, yeah. So are you seeing how helpful these Intelliscans are? I hope so, traders. If so, again, feel free to type yes in the chat box and let me know that you're receiving some value from our time together today. And we're not yet done. We've looked at stocks together, and we've looked at a few of these different Intelliscans. What happens, if we're looking at some of the other asset classes like Forex? I haven't forgot about you Forex traders or you futures traders. Well, let's take a look at the Forex markets. Is the Intelliscan valuable for Forex? It absolutely is. So I'm going to open up our short-term Forex Intelliscan. That's the next one that we're going to go through together. And let's open this one up. And as we're looking at this one, voila, here we go. Now with our short-term Forex being a fast-moving market, we've set this one up to be a little bit shorter term, so you can really catch things right when they're expected to start moving. So you can see here, we've got the short-term crossover located on the left, and we have this filtered down to just 1 day. These are fresh short-term crossovers. And then we've got the neural index in here. We've got our short and medium term difference lines located in here as well. And then our predicted trading range. That's our gray candle. And then we also have over here on the right, we've got the RSI trend and the RSI. So here we've added in a couple of other predictive indicators from VantagePoint that will help us narrow down some fantastic opportunities. So in looking at this, the short-term crossover, you can adjust this however you want. If you're looking for a bearish trend or a bullish trend, something in the Forex markets, all you got to do is just filter this either up or down. But you can clearly see, even by just looking at these three, you can clearly see what may be moving down and what may be expecting to move up. I notice here on the bottom, we've got the pound and the yen down, 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 down. RSI is very low. That market may be looking to continue trending down. And so the RSI, just to give you some background here, guys, the RSI is your relative strength index. And the way that you would use this within your scan, a couple different ways. The first thing is the RSI trend here is going to identify the direction of your momentum. That's why we've added this in here. It's showing you where momentum is heading. In this case, all three of these are still down. Now the RSI over here, this is a value. And the way the RSI works in identifying the direction of that momentum, well, it's going to show you whether or not a market is in an overbought or oversold condition. Now with the RSI, the two values that you want to be familiar with are number one, 70, and number two, 30. Now anytime your RSI is close to a 70 value, that market is overbought. And anytime your RSI is closer to the 30 range, that market is oversold. And so you can also adjust that as well. You can click here and you can do less than or equal to a certain amount. Let's say you want to look at things that are coming out of a overbought state. You could do less than or equal to 70 if you want, or 60. Totally up to you. This is completely customizable, but can this be helpful for the Forex pairs and the Forex markets? Absolutely. Absolutely, as you can clearly see there. So the next one that we're going to move on to, now let's talk about futures. So now I'm going to come over here to our Intelliscan. Let's open up this next one together. And we're going to look at the long-term futures. Perfect. Okay, here we go. Now with the long-term futures, you can see, because we're looking for a longer-term setup, or something that's expected to move longer term, something that's established, we've added in the triple crossover, because the triple crossover here can really show you something that is fully established. Now we've got this filtered currently to less than or equal to 3 days. And right now it looks like these all three of these, all 5 of these futures have been moving up. That's the direction that we have here. And you'll notice that we also added in the MACD crossover. Now the MACD, that is your moving average convergence and divergence. That has also been transformed. It's predictive here in VantagePoint. But we want to know whether or not the MACD is confirming what the triple cross is telling us. Is the MACD showing that we have an uptrend? It most certainly is. And we have that also filtered to less than or equal to 3 days to match what the triple cross is telling us as well. And then the other predictive indicator that we've added in over here to the right, that is our TSI crossover. Now, many individuals are not familiar with the TSI. I love the TSI. The TSI is the true strength index. True strength index. Now, it's derived from the RSI, but the RSI is your relative strength index, and it's a little bit more sensitive to market movement. The TSI, more for a longer term picture, a longer term view or setup. And the way the TSI works is it works very similar to a crossover system. So you've got 2 lines. One of them is your predictive line, and you're looking for that crossover to occur. So what this is telling us right here is that we do have a crossover, and it is confirming that within the last 3 days, these markets right here within the futures have all been experiencing positive momentum to the upside. So this allows you to identify something that is established, in this case, all pointed up, but also something that is expected to continue moving upward. Isn't this powerful? Yes. So you can definitely use this for the futures markets as well. And you can see we started with the 71. Very quickly, we've narrowed this down to the top 5 that have positive momentum right now. Now, The very last Intelliscan that we're going to go through together. We're almost done here. Now, let's talk about sector rotation. So let me open up the sector rotation Intelliscan. And here we are. Wonderful. Okay. So here within the sector rotation Intelliscan, we've got, here's what we've done. If you've noticed through these markets, these are all ETFs, aren't they? These are all ETFs, and what we've actually done is we've added in about 25, 26 different ETF sectors within this list. Now, why is this important? Well, these specific ETFs have been identified to give you as a trader the bird's eye view about what markets are doing and what they're expected to do in the short term, according to VantagePoint's predicted neural index, which is our 2-day predictive indicator, the medium-term crossover, also showing us a 2-day outlook. The long-term crossover, that's 3 days predictive. Our triple cross, we've got the 3 days predictive there as well. And then we also have our gray candle, our 1-day predicted trading range direction. So this is for someone who wants to go where the money is and identify what sectors, what markets may be trending at that time. So as you scroll through this list, I mean, you can customize this however you want. You can select up for all of these. You can select down for all of these. But you can scan through these 25 and 26 and you can clearly identify where the momentum is. Just in scanning through real briefly, I can see consumer. Look at the consumer spiders, these ETFs, all pointed up. That's telling you there's a lot of money in the consumer sectors right now. And they've been moving for quite some time. And so very clearly, you'll notice that as you scan through this, but you can customize it however you want. But with this type of scan here, this allows you to be proactive, but also concise. So this is going to allow you to put your money where the momentum is heading. So as you can now clearly see, the Intelliscan traders, this is where you as a trader, this is where all of your money is hiding. It's all here. This is the gold. And now that you have these templates and you understand how to customize them more fully, well, now you can navigate through the hundreds of available opportunities in VantagePoint more efficiently. You can identify trends more accurately, which is going to save you a lot of time, but also yield you more success as a trader, which is exactly what you're looking for, isn't it? Have a fantastic rest of your day, power traders.